Um, well, Dan, mate, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, man. You're just coming off an awesome month, and that's why I wanted to catch up today, of course, and just sort of hear about that, hear about experiences through the program, and really, I guess, shed some lessons to some people that were sort of in your position even a couple of months ago, up until where you're at now, because we're always learning as business owners, of course, and yeah, man, you've been juggling obviously your full-time work and other responsibilities and stuff like that with this ecom brand. So it's very admirable, man. So obviously, congrats on hitting the milestone, dude. Really, really exciting. Obviously, for things to come as well. Man, I mean, first and foremost, I'd just love to hear, obviously, about just your business and introduction to your business and what it does, and obviously what you guys have done, maybe even up to the point of before joining the program, what you guys had tried.
Yeah, so Cowboy Grooming Co. we rebranded in March this year. The idea came about in, I think it was like 2020, after a few beers, on the way down to my parents-in-law's Christmas party. I just said to Kate, hey, let's make my fiance Kate, let's make a men's hair company, because I couldn't find anything like on the market that would not come out through like water or sweat. Like mainly like when I played soccer or go to the gym, I'd always get stuff in my eyes, and I was heaps sick of it. So yeah, I was really surprised when she said yes. So I was like, all right, so yes, pretty much did all the research. So we launched. When did we launch? March 2022. Yeah, 2023. Yeah, so March 2022 we launched, and yeah, no idea pretty much what's going on, how to run a business, even how to run a small business. Yeah, no idea whatsoever. Just thinking if we build it, they'll come. Yeah, pretty obnoxious to think that. And so then for our first year, we only had 3 products. I think we did like one advertising campaign on Facebook that we didn't know what to do, just have a heaps of different interests targeting. I think we dropped like $500 on Google Ads. Didn't know even how to analyze that. We're like, oh, well, this is a waste, isn't it? So then when we decided to rebrand to bring in new products, yeah, we came across the program and thought, if we're actually going to start investing in our business, we need to like invest in ourselves at the same time, which is a bit of a risk, but also at the same time, like, well, we've given it a crack. Like, if we give up, we wouldn't feel like we'd actually given it a crack. And so, yeah, we did it, and yeah, it's provided a lot of clarity. Yeah, a lot of clarity sort of on what to do. Like pre the course, every day off, I'd be doing something, but I didn't know what to do at the same time. So I was just sitting here thinking, oh, this is a good idea of what to do. I'll just do that. Wasting my time. Like looking back, wasting my time. And now it's like, okay, well, like, this is like, yeah, like a blueprint of what to do. Yeah, like kind of steps of, hey, like, yeah, this is sort of what to do. And that's helped us like heaps. Like I was heaps, like I personally, not a big fan of like receiving spam emails where Kate has like her inbox is like 10,000. Very two different people with that. And so I never wanted to do like email marketing because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that annoying brand. And then realizing, wow, it can actually bring you a lot of money from doing that. And it's actually pretty easy to do. Like, oh, well, wasn't I wrong? So yeah, no, it's more so like I've more so learned just leave your ego at the door and just come to learn. That's pretty much about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, that's very, a very common position coming into a program and kind of be unsure about things, especially if you haven't been through it before. But I think that's definitely really common, that people are like, look, if we're going to give this a crack, and we have done so for a little bit ourselves, like we just really need that kind of leg up. Like it's almost like you feel like a missing piece. It's like, what am I actually missing? And then to be able to come in and actually get that clarity it's everything, honestly, in my experience. Like, because I went probably 5 years of doing exactly what you were talking about, trying to figure stuff out, feeling productive, trying this, trying that. And it was either stupidity or just perseverance, probably both, that we just came out the other end. And then we did invest in same thing, our business and ourselves. And it was like, oh, why the heck do we do this, before, so
Yeah.
very, very, it's always nerve wracking. I'll definitely say that, because we're not used to investing in ourselves, right? Which is actually our business, but we're not used to it really until you do it the first time, and then you do never go back. So it's awesome to hear that, man. I mean, apart from obviously just getting a little bit of that blueprint and obviously knowing what to do and being really intentional with what you're sort of doing. I mean, how have you found like the community? I know you're very, very involved, which is, you know, super beneficial to you, of course. How have you found the community and the platforms and stuff like that?
I was pretty like when I first sort of came in, I was pretty sort of like a little bit like standoffish, pretty like intimidated by, you know, you see people throwing up these big numbers and you're like, I can't crack $1,000 a month. Like it's a bit like it can be a bit deflating, but it depends sort of how you want to look at it at the same time. Yeah, so I suppose to be, you know, like even though I've never met anyone,
Mm.
like, you know, be surrounded by at the same time like so much knowledge and resource, like it's stupid to not take advantage of it. Like, and that's all, yeah, and just dip your toes in and sort of see like, and that's like, yeah, like especially like the last probably couple of months, I'm like now that I know a lot of, well, you know heaps more than what I
Mm.
did. Like people asking questions, I'm like, yeah, cool. Like this is a good way to how to do this, or like don't do this. But yeah, like I was, yeah, it's really good to sort of be surrounded by that, and then also sort of slightly giving your advice and mentoring people as well.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really cool, and just getting different ideas from everyone. Yeah, it's heaps beneficial, and um, yeah, just even things like looking at your website, reviewing it. You're thinking you've got a good website when really you speak to other people and they're like, oh, maybe you should change this, and you're like, yeah, actually that's a heaps good idea. Why didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, rather than it saves you doing all that external um research, and I suppose getting all that research, like all that external feedback, you've just got it there straight away. It's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all. I mean, and dude, and what I've observed, you know, from yourself is just, as I say, that involvement and just being completely open to the feedback, right? There's, you know, we're just here to help in every possible way and support you and be constructive. And you've just embraced that. And I have no doubt that your involvement and question asking, I always say like ask better questions, get better answers, but just almost be the squeaky wheel, right? Because you know, you just need to keep asking questions, and we're exactly the same. And I encourage that because you will get the help that you need in the direction that you do need. I mean, I think the worst thing you can do is across the board, like investing in yourself and your business in any other capacity and just kind of thinking that your job is done. I think some people, I mean, I've been a part of other programs where like they sign up and you never see them or hear them because they feel great about just joining. It's like, no, you've just made the first step, really important, really big step. But now you have to actually do the work. You'll get the guidance and everything that you actually need, but invest like in time and emotionally, of course, and then you will get the rewards from just doing the work. You'll have everything there. So that's
yeah,
been, I think, one of the biggest keys for you, yourself and Kate, is just being there and being involved and asking for the help, asking the right questions, and yeah, just pivoting and moving along the path, man. So I mean, I have no doubt that that's what's got you to that, you know, milestone month, dude. So I think that that's you know, as I say, huge congrats to you guys, and it's awesome that you know you feel so a part of the supported community because everyone's you know in the same boat with your support as well, dude. So so I mean, with I guess the wisdom you sort of have being I guess on the other side of the program being kind of in it and everything like that. I mean, what would you sort of say to people, I guess, that are in the position that you know you sort of were before you know jumping into the program? If you sort of recall back then, what was going through your mind and that sort of thing, is there anything you kind of say to them about if they were looking, if they were kind of stuck and stagnant, if they were potentially looking for help, anything in particular that you found helpful, I guess, in making your decision to kind of jump in and invest?
yeah. It's the thing I think of, you know, like what is super encouraged like nowadays is just, you know, like, talk about how you're feeling and all that type of stuff. But I remember like, yeah, having a chat with Kato, and I was like, we're putting, at the time I was putting so much time and effort into it, and it's just like feel like you're drowning and like don't really know what to do, and just throwing darts, you know,
Mm.
on a sinking ship and hoping something's going to hit, and you know nothing ever changes. And so um yeah, I suppose we thought, and I suppose what I know I've sort of told a few people as well, like, you know, if you want to look to start a business, like there's obviously so many things to consider, but this is like, I think like this type of knowledge is just as important as your product, because you could have, yeah, you could have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to put it in front of people, like there's no point. Because it's just so hard to do and fight with everyone else that's trying to do it for their business as well.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, yeah, super glad that we've invested in, and invested that knowledge in. And yeah, it's just interesting. Like people are happier to go out and spend, I don't know, thousands of dollars on this or $1,000 of this, or like every weekend, go to the pub, drop a couple of $100, but but they're not happy to invest in themselves for the super long term future. And that's where like it's just a different, I suppose, yeah, if you really want to do it, you'll look to invest in yourself, because we drop thousands of dollars on products and thousands of hours on research and all this type of stuff. But when it comes to, okay, now I need to look at this sort of side of it, and when it's super, super tailored as well, like I can understand why people are hesitant, but it's like if you do it and you invest your time into it, yeah, you get out what you put in. That's probably the
Mm,
easiest way to put it as well.
mm.
Yeah, you can sign up, but if you don't actively participate, you wasted your time and money. Yeah, massively.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point about where you spend your time and your resources. And as I say, maybe that's kind of like a wisdom thing. I personally thought that, yeah, like investing in yourself as like what am I getting for it? Years ago was like such a waste. But then, as I say, I cost myself basically 5 years of progress in that time. So what is your time worth?
Yeah,
And then I honestly believe if we strip ourselves and everything in our lives right down, all we have is our knowledge basically. And our
yeah,
skills. And so if that's what you're actually investing in, there's no way that you can fail in whatever you do. You can use the same skills in anything that you want to. So yeah, man, I think that that's super important to put in context for people as well. Is that, yeah, you can drop money so easy, but then when it's education and getting better at something, the people often do find that quite challenging unless you've done it before. So it's
yeah,
awesome, as I say, to have that kind of wisdom coming out the other side, man. And
yeah,
as I say, like you and Kate have, got some really big milestones coming out. I can just kind of feel it because it just becomes inevitable when you are doing the right things time and time and time and time again. It just becomes this real compound effect. The hardest part, you've basically just gone through getting to those milestone months, right? The hardest part is getting the word out there, getting in people's hands, serving the impressions. And now that you're figuring that out, and you really have figured it out, right? It's just about now building on top of
yeah,
it. Everything else kind of becomes easier and faster, right? And that's when you get that nice little hockey stick after the time that you've spent doing it in those first few months. So as I say, man, I just commend you guys so much and can't wait to obviously see what's in store because I know it's going to be big things. But
yeah. So it was good, like hitting that milestone, like that overall, like that 5K milestone last month. Like we hit it when we're at a market, and then like on the drive home, like we celebrated with, I think it was like some KFC or something like
I
that.
love it. Yeah.
But we like I cried on the way home. It's just like enjoy. I was just like,
So good.
fuck, it's like I've done it. Like this is like, yeah, like it's a cool little milestone. Like before we were like just break and eat. Like, yeah, it's more so, okay, let's just sell what we can, like online, to try and just, pay what we have to, like for online. And
Yeah.
it's just, let's just get by, let's just get by. And now it's like, oh, well, like we actually made a bit of money. Like, that's cool. Like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, look at us, like business owners. Then in my head, I'm like, well, if I can do this, like if I could double or triple this, like the whole year, I could quit my job and just do this. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like pull
Yeah.
back. Let's just do some baby steps. Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
But
So yeah, no,
it's
it's
really nice, man.
but
That's
that's the thing. It's all about like those baby steps of just cool. You've hit that milestone, and like our goal is to just continue hitting that. Like, and that's the thing.
yeah.
It's not to smash it out of the water. It's like just baby steps to keep it back to reality of things aren't always going to be super duper bright. But if you can just look at those nicer, those nicer wins, it's
Yeah.
all it's all relevant.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for obviously sharing those lessons. And I appreciate you and Kate obviously being here, and I love it. I love seeing you guys win more than anything. And yeah, as I say, can't wait to obviously observe more, man. So thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, dude.
Thanks very much.
Awesome.